Level 1, The Pretender. Norman Bates, Psycho. Kicking things off at Level 1, we've got the OG mama's boy of horror, Norman Bates from Psycho. Now yes, Norman is iconic, he literally set the blueprint for cinematic killers, but when you strip away the black and white legacy, Norman is, honestly, kind of terrible at being a serial killer. Here's the thing, Norman doesn't kill out of strategy or even out of necessity. He kills out of complete psychological collapse. His mother persona takes over, and boom, knife comes out, shower curtain rips, cue the screaming violins. Terrifying on screen? Absolutely. Effective in real life? Not even close. His murders are impulsive, sloppy, and 0% subtle. He doesn't think about forensics, doesn't think about escape routes, doesn't even think about noise levels. The guy is literally stabbing people while dressed as his mom. That's not exactly a criminal mastermind move, that's just therapy waiting to happen. And the cover-up? Forget about it. Norman dumps bodies in swamps like no one's going to notice a car sticking out of the water. Spoiler alert, people notice. If Norman were operating in today's world with cameras on every corner and DNA testing that can catch a criminal from a single eyelash, he wouldn't last a week. Honestly, I'm being generous giving him 48 hours before he gets hauled off in cuffs. Now, does he have menace? Yes. Does he creep us out? Of course. But a true serial killer needs discipline, control, and strategy. Norman has none of that. He's not a predator. He's a man in crisis with a butcher knife. That's why Norman Bates lands at the very bottom. Level 1, The Pretender. Level 2, The Chaotic Amateurs. The Joker, The Dark Knight. Sliding into Level 2, we've got none other than Gotham's clown prince of crime, the Joker. Specifically, Heath Ledger's version from The Dark Knight, because let's be real, that performance redefined chaos itself. Now, before you start typing angry comments, let's clear something up. As a villain, Joker is legendary. As a serial killer, not so much. The problem is that Joker breaks literally every rule of serial killing. Subtlety, gone. Stealth, forget about it. Staying hidden. Please, this guy announces his crimes on live television. He kills, sure, but he does it as a performance piece. His murders aren't about precision, they're about spectacle. Think about it, a serial killer's goal is usually to blend in, cover tracks, and outsmart investigators for as long as possible. Joker? He wants Batman, the police, and the entire city to know it's him. He's not just leaving breadcrumbs, he's dumping the whole loaf on the table. And don't get me wrong, he's terrifying in the moment. A room full of mobsters? He owns it. A city under siege? He thrives in it. But take him out of Gotham and put him in a normal town with actual police departments that don't wear capes, and suddenly his master plan looks more like a cry for attention. At the end of the day, Joker is reckless. He's brilliant, yes, but brilliance without control doesn't get you far in the serial killer rankings. He could have been elite if he cared about staying hidden, but instead he chooses chaos every single time. So while Norman Bates is down at the bottom as a delusional amateur, Joker's a step above. More dangerous, more intelligent, but still fatally flawed. That's why he lands here at Level 2.
Seriously, here's my card.
The Chaotic Amateurs. Level 3. The Obsessive Stalker. Joe Goldberg, you. At Level 3, we step into scarier territory. Because unlike Norman and Joker, this guy could actually be standing right next to you in line at the grocery store. I'm talking about Joe Goldberg from You. Now, Joe isn't the strongest, the fastest, or even the most brutal killer on this list. But what makes him so chilling is that he's ordinary. He's not wearing a mask, he's not carving his name into walls, and he's not leaving clown makeup at crime scenes. He's the quiet, charming neighbor who helps you carry your groceries. The guy you'd trust to water your plants. That's his weapon. He blends in perfectly. Joe plays the long game. He studies his victims for weeks, sometimes months. He learns everything. Your habits, your passwords, your deepest insecurities. He basically audits your entire life before making a move. That's what makes him dangerous. He doesn't strike until he's absolutely sure you're trapped in his web. But here's the kicker. Joe isn't killing for the thrill, at least not in his head. He convinces himself it's for love. Every murder is justified through this delusional narrative that he's protecting someone, or saving them, or building some perfect fairy tale life. It's creepy, it's obsessive, and let's be real, it makes him sloppy. Because when emotions get involved, Joe falls apart. He stalks too long, leaves evidence behind, and when plans unravel, so does he. One wrong move and suddenly he's panicking, improvising, making mistakes.
Stop calling me.
Still, his ability to manipulate people, to look normal while hiding literal murder in his basement, makes him far scarier than Norman Bates or even Joker. He's the killer you don't see coming because he's the one you let into your life willingly. That's why Joe Goldberg sits right here at Level 3, the obsessive stalker. Level 4, the professional hitman. Anton Chigurh, No Country for Old Men. Now at Level 4, things start to get very serious. We're talking about a man who doesn't just kill, he embodies death. It's Anton Chigurh from No Country for Old Men. Unlike Joe Goldberg, who kills out of obsession, or Joker, who kills for chaos, Anton kills because it's who he is. And the scariest part? He doesn't need a reason. He walks into a room with that dead stare, and suddenly your entire existence comes down to a coin toss. Heads or tails, your life is literally in his hands, and he doesn't even flinch about it. Anton is terrifying because he's emotionless. No anger, no gloating, no look what I did theatrics. He's efficient, precise, and completely detached. He doesn't see killing as personal. It's fate. It's rules. It's just inevitable.
The airport is El Paso.
Combat-wise, Anton is a nightmare. He's physically capable, tactically skilled, and resourceful enough to turn almost anything into a weapon. He doesn't waste time, and he doesn't play games. Unlike Hannibal, there's no art in what he does. It's just cold, clinical execution. Now, is he unstoppable? No, and that's where his one weakness comes in, his code. Anton believes so strongly in his twisted sense of fate that he won't break it, even when it might save his life. If he decides the coin decides your fate, that's it. No second chances. It's ironically the only thing that makes him predictable. Still, compared to the chaos of Joker or the sloppy obsession of Joe, Anton is on another level entirely. He's not a man pretending to be a monster, he is the monster. That's why Anton Chigurh earns his spot at Level 4, the professional hitman. Level 5, the methodical strategist. Dexter Morgan, Dexter. At Level 5, we're entering the elite ranks. This isn't your sloppy Norman Bates. This isn't your reckless Joker. This is someone who turns killing into a science. I'm talking about Dexter Morgan. Now, Dexter is unlike anyone we've talked about so far, because he doesn't just stumble into murder, he builds his entire life around it. Every victim he chooses is carefully researched, studied, and vetted against his personal code. He doesn't strike until he's absolutely sure they deserve it, and when he finally does, it's like watching a twisted surgeon at work. His day job makes him even more terrifying. Dexter works as a blood spatter analyst for the Miami Metro Police Department. That means he literally knows exactly how investigators think, what mistakes they look for, and how to erase any trace of evidence. While most killers panic about leaving behind fingerprints or footprints, Dexter is already 3 steps ahead, planning the cleanup before he even commits the crime. Control is Dexter's greatest weapon. Unlike Joe Goldberg, who lets obsession cloud his judgment, Dexter channels his urges into ritual. He has a system, a process, a ritualistic precision that makes him nearly impossible to catch. He doesn't kill for fun, he kills to satisfy the dark passenger inside him, but he does it with chilling discipline. Of course, Dexter isn't perfect. Over time, his humanity, the love for his sister, his relationships, even his desire for family start to chip away at his perfect mask.
Hey, you shoot me, who'll prove you're...
The cracks form slowly, and when they do, his control falters. And for someone who survives on control, that's dangerous. But make no mistake, Dexter Morgan is one of the smartest, most efficient killers on this list. He's not chaotic like Joker, not impulsive like Norman, and not sloppy like Joe. He's cold, calculated, and devastatingly effective. That's why Dexter sits here at Level 5, the methodical strategist. Level 6, the elegant predator. Hannibal Lecter, Hannibal series. At Level 6, we enter God-tier human killers. This is where murder stops being chaotic or sloppy and becomes disturbingly refined. Welcome to the world of Dr. Hannibal Lecter. Hannibal isn't just good at killing, he's a masterclass in it. He's a surgeon, a psychiatrist, and let's not forget a chef. That combination means he doesn't just understand how the body works, he knows how to dismantle it with terrifying precision. And then, he makes dinner out of it. Talk about multitasking. What separates Hannibal from someone like Dexter is elegance. Dexter is efficient, clinical, and surgical. Hannibal? He's artistic. He doesn't just end lives, he plays with them, mentally and physically. He dismantles people psychologically before ever laying a hand on them. By the time he makes a move, his victims are already broken. And when it comes to combat, Hannibal is lethal. He doesn't waste motion, doesn't waste energy. Whether it's a scalpel, a knife, or even just his bare hands, Hannibal knows exactly where to strike and exactly how to make it count. You don't get a second chance when you're on the wrong side of Hannibal Lecter. But here's the fascinating part. Hannibal's weakness is his curiosity. He enjoys the game. He toys with people, tests them, lets them believe they might outsmart him just because he finds it entertaining. That curiosity sometimes opens the smallest window of survival.
To Frederick has put me in an excellent humor.
But let's be honest, it's usually too late. Hannibal is not chaotic like Joker, not impulsive like Norman, and not emotional like Joe. He's deliberate, brilliant, and horrifyingly elegant, which is why he claims Level 6, the elegant predator. Level 7, the human monster. Johann Liebert. Monster. And now, the final level, the peak, the one killer who sits alone at the very top. Johann Liebert from Monster. Johann is different from everyone else on this list, because he doesn't even need to touch you to kill you. His weapon isn't a knife or a gun or even his fists, it's psychology. He can walk into your life, sit across from you, and in just a few words dismantle your entire sense of self. He convinces people to kill themselves, to kill others, to destroy everything they've ever cared about. And the terrifying part, they believe it was their own idea. Johann doesn't kill because of obsession like Joe, or because of a code like Dexter. He doesn't kill for art like Hannibal, or for spectacle like Joker. Johann kills because he can, because it's easy for him. He doesn't see people as people. He sees them as chess pieces to move around until the board is empty. Imagine someone who doesn't just take your life, but erases your humanity. That's Johann. He doesn't need chaos. He doesn't need brutality. His presence alone is enough to unravel entire communities. He's not a man. You could argue he's the closest thing fiction has ever given us to a human void. That's why Johann Liebert isn't just another killer. He's the definition of one. The peak, the monster at the end of the staircase, and that's why he stands alone at level 7, the human monster. Who haunts you more, the chaos of Joker or the quiet dread of Johann? That wraps our descent through the 7 levels of fictional serial killers. Drop your pick in the comments, like if you felt the chill, and subscribe for more deep dives into the darkest minds of fiction. Because the scariest killers are often the ones you never see coming.